Hey there, everyone. Welcome to my channel. And well, ACC 1.8 has been out since yesterday, and it brings a couple new features, which the most important of them being the no physics, but also they brought AMD's FSR and Nvidia's DLSS, which we're going to be comparing today after extensive research. I made a couple graphs so that we can compare which one is actually the best option to go with. So most importantly, we got to remember that the time of day was the same, the track was the same, amount of cars was the same, so essentially same conditions. We're playing on level grounds so that we do not favor any specific technology. It's a fair comparison. It was very extensive, very tiresome, but I got the results and now we're gonna compare them and explain and also make a few comments after that on regards to visual quality and so on. So first things first, let's check the settings, which I ran to check to run the test and stuff. So 1080p, 120% res scale, top of 1080p, view distance on Epic, shadows on high, distance on Epic, contact shadows enabled, anti-aliasing on Epic, temporal, TAH on 5, and here it was disabled, but we have ran DLSS and FSR both on quality, so the best of the best in that regard, because we wanted to see how close to native it gets once you push it like really high to go on the extremes. And I have a few comments to make on that later on. So effects, all the other stuff, few things were put on low because I wanted to improve the frame rate, so mirrors and so on. But here's basically everything as far as visuals are concerned. Now, let's get to the graphics, shall we? So this is the first graphic. As you can see, Ulton Park, clear, 2 p.m., 27 car grid. So even settings, nothing was changed, even Steven, so that we get a very fair comparison. So frame rate average wise, FSR 1 on quality. So I ran FSR on quality 80% scaling, and with the settings that were shown during the first few slides. So 81.2 was the average, 59.9 was the 1% low, and 55.5 was the 0.2% low. DLSS on quality, as you can see, 74.6, so significantly less than FSR. Got 58.7 on the 1%, 54.6 on the 0.2%. Native, we got 73.9, really close to DLSS. And 1% low, 58.8, very stable. And 0.2% on the lows, so 54.3. And well, the results at first glance seem very obvious. FSR is better. Technically, yeah, because as you can see, 81.2 against 739 against 74.6. So it seems like a clear win for FSR. But is that the case? Time for the next slide. Shall we go? Yes. So here's the total averages that we got for GPU temperatures, usage, for the graphics card, usage for the CPU, and the memory usage. With DLSS, which should be green, I don't know why it's orange, FSR and native. So look at that difference. And then we shall really think, is there really a clear winner here? Perhaps. Look at the native temperature, 77. It maxed out at 79. This is the average. But as you can see, 77 right there. That was the average throughout the 10-minute race. And look at the frames. We got 73.9, really close to the DLSS on quality, which yielded 74.6. But if we go back here and check DLSS, we had 69. A whopping 8 degrees lower, while also being a whopping 1 frame above it. Interesting, isn't it? Because at first glance, it seems like there's not much of a difference. I mean, 73.9, 74.6, it's less than 1 frame. But, look at the temperatures. Look at that difference. 8 degrees difference. An average of 69 degrees. Same for the FSR. Look at that, 72 and 81.2. Much better than native. Running a lot better, a lot more stable, with better minimums. That's a difference that's kind of hard to debate with. It's just makes it clear that yes, the difference between native FSR on and DLSS on seems minimal at a glance. I mean, numbers are there. Doesn't seem like much of a jump. But then if you look at the temperatures, wow. And if you look at the load, most importantly, let's look at the GPU usage. So native, 85%. Let's not even look at the temperatures because my card's very hot by nature. It's extremely hot. So let's not look at the temperatures. Let's just look at the usage. 85%, 73.9. 53% on FSR, 81 average. And 48% DLSS, 74.6. So with almost half the load in native, we were doing 1 extra frame on top of it, and DLSS quality in natives nearly undistinguishable. You can kind of distinguish between FSR and quality in native. There is a little bit of a gap there. It's a little bit more aliased and stuff. The grass, most importantly. But it's not really night and day. It's very subtle. And between DLSS and native, it's even more so subtle difference. So it makes us think, interesting, isn't it? Frame rate. Yeah, native performs almost the same. Looks better. Obviously, native is always going to look better than deep learning and FSR. But look at the loads. So you can have better performance in lower temperatures. That's quite a deal. I mean, even if you can run ACC just fine, because 73 is more than playable. I mean, it's all more than 60. So, like, it's completely playable right there. So, in theory, you would be like, hey, I don't need super sampling. I don't need any of that. But hey, look at the usage. Look at the temperatures. So you're going to be running your graphics card at less load, consequently yielding lower temperatures. So it's going to extend your lifespan. It's as easy as that. I mean, look at that, 40%, 52%. Look at the numbers. And then you look back at that, and the CPU usage stays the same. So one could say it's even the CPU that's kind of holding back the whole thing. Perhaps with a more powerful CPU rather than a 3700X, I could get a little bit better regarding native numbers, maybe even the FSR and the DLSS numbers, which are awfully similar, all of them. But the major difference here being obviously the usage. So if you have better cooling, even like 53, 48%, it's going to be nearly like idle temperatures. And look at the memory usage. So 392 for DLSS, 382 for FSR, which uses less memory and still yields better performance. And native, obviously, eating all the memory. All of it. So, I mean, there's no debate. Is it FSR? For 1080p, I mean, I'm going to run a 4K test later on, Quad HD test as well, so that we can run the numbers and compare again, see if it still stands, if DLSS perhaps runs better under higher resolutions, or if the trend stays the same. Same thing with the load trend, which is very important. But at a first glance, if you look at just the numbers, just the frame rate, it doesn't seem much of a jump. Like 73 to 81, 74 to 81. That's not really, wow. It's one whole frame from native to DLSS and, 6-ish, 7-ish to FSR. Doesn't look like much of a jump, but once you look at the load, it's so much different. Like 85%, and you're doing 73. 53.48 doing 74.6, 81.2 respectively. So what is there to say? You know, what is there to say? It's just better. I mean, look at that. I think that's it for the video. I mean, there's a clear winner here. FSR. Lower, almost the lower load on the graphics card with 53%. DLSS being 48, but if you do the proportions like 74, 6, 48, 81 to 53, you can tell FSR is doing better. It does use more of the graphics card, but it does use more frames. So FSR quality, first place DLSS quality, second place native, bottom. So FSR quality is king. And that's it for today's video. That's for Full HD. Full HD video should follow sometime this week, and same for 4K. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This very extensive research. Thanks to Ryan for providing me the software that allowed me to run the benchmark and make the graphs and get all the data that was needed. And well, that's it. Feedback's much appreciated. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.